Australian made and owned, Hi-Tec Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tec Oils for peace of mind.
On today's show, we head to Mount Panorama Bathurst as we continue our supports action from the Hi-Tec Oils Bathurst 6 Hour. The ever-popular improved production cars make their inaugural appearance as part of the 6 Hour and are ready to tear up around Australia's famous mountain. Then we head to Western Sydney and to Sydney Dragway for the penultimate round of the 400 Thunder Drag Racing Series. It's the Gulf Western Oil's Nitro Thunder and the headline act of Top Fuel are ready to tear up the quarter mile. Then we return to Mount Panorama Bathurst later in the show for more Bathurst 6 Hour supports action, this time featuring the Federal Tyres Circuit XL Challenge. This is Speedweek.
If you're looking for Aussie grassroots motorsport, then improved production is the category for you. Plenty of variety up and down this pit lane, from a brand new Ford Falcon to a Datsun 1200. Lots of history with these drivers too. So let's check in now with some of the characters from this category.
I started with improved production back in 1988, so it's been 31 years now. It was about 99 when the endurance race concept started. And it's just grown exponentially, and now it's one of our premier events and one of the premier events in the country for production-based motorcars.
I only became a commentator after I was a state-level racer for many, many years. I think I was a decade in the car, a little bit longer. And then when my car kept breaking down, I ended up in a commentary box. And when I retired at the ripe old age of 27, I got asked if I wanted to be a commentator, and I said, yeah, I'll give it a crack. 10 years later, I've had an amazing career with it.
I started a long time ago. I think I've been racing for about 52 years. I've been racing V8 utes and racing V8 supercars, and I just love coming to the mountain. This is a great event. I've done the 12 Hour in the Honda twice. I'm 72 this year, and I hope I'll still be doing it. You'll be talking to me when I'm 82.
Before this year was racing a BRZ in under 2 litre, improved production in Victoria, and we had a pretty good year, came third in the championship, and this year we're running a EG Honda Civic. Yeah, pretty daunting track to come to grips with. Yeah, I think it's just more, the hills and tight corners and walls.
It's such a great track to drive that it takes 2.5 minutes to get back around to the same corner to enjoy it again. So that's probably one of the lows. One of the highs is it's one of the most fantastic touring car tracks in the world, and and it's a track that we only get to drive on usually once a year, and we get to use top gear and top speeds in our cars.
So many people will give you their thoughts on what this track is like to drive. You can use as many simulator laps as you like. You can watch as much in-car. What gets you, though, is the movement of the car, especially over the humps here at high speed. You'll be doing 240, 250 Ks and the rear end gets light on you. You don't feel that in a sim. It's amazing. This track is off its head. I think that's the words I use to the team. It's my wife and my 6th wedding anniversary, and I've dragged her away from a lovely holiday down the coast with friends, and I've brought her up to a mountain to go racing. So I've put stickers on the car, on my helmet, just to give her some little semblance of a nod to our 6th wedding anniversary.
As I mentioned, so many great characters in this lane. I'm going to jump out of the car because we are now ready to go racing for improved production. Over to you, boys.
Cars are just making their way out onto the track for this 7-lapper to complete improved production here for the weekend. And as we've seen in the past, Brian, improved production have always put on some really good racing around Mount Panorama.
Matt Cherry has been dominant so far this weekend. He got the opening race done yesterday morning. He won in the second race yesterday as well. Plainly because Ray Hislop, it hasn't all got his way this weekend.
No, had a CDI unit failure prior to the start of race 1 after he qualified fastest, so he had to start the second race from the back of the grid, got to 4th spot. So watch out for the blue number 2 Ford Falcon BF. It'll start off the outside of the second row on pole, of course, will be Matt Cherry. He's had 2 wins over Chris Brown and Adam Poole this weekend. We'll be aiming for a third. but I don't know if he'll be able to hold that forward out. It's a standing start for these guys, and they have turned it on already, and we've seen, as typical of these sorts of, with such a big field, that we're going to have some DNFs and some issues going on, and unfortunately we lost Ian Rice as well, a little Ford Escort having a crash, and certainly dented his plans to go to Darwin this year and race at the Supercar Support events. They're sort of lining up to have at least 2 grids up there this year, so the popular winter destination for improved production and HQs, and the Commodore Cup guys will go up there as well.
It's interesting to note that the field is so large here. It'll be going around Murray's Corner before we get to the end of the grid, in fact.
Yeah, you're lucky you're not the only grid marshal, or you'll be, you'll be one tuckered out individual by the time you got to the back of the field to wave the green.
You'd be testing your fitness, to say the least.
Indeed.
Just having a look here at the 29 car of Poole. Looks like the officials are in the door of that car, so hopefully everything's okay for that. If it's not, I dare say we'd have a delayed start here. So you could see there on screen the officials around that Poole car, and are they pushing that car backwards? They are. So we'll have a little bit of a halt in proceedings here at the start of the final race of the weekend. But for Poole, that's a bit of disappointment. He's going to start this race from position 3.
Yeah, Adam Poole is actually, well, it's got going now, so I don't know what the story is there. Might have got a bit of heat in the car, but he'll go around and probably go in the back gate, I would imagine, which is midway up Mountain Straight. Cars here from the Northern Territory as well. I'm just looking down. Barry Smith brought his Commodore down here. He's one of the locals up there. James Proctor was another. Unfortunately, the RX-8 Turbo went up in smoke in qualifying, so he was unable to take part. And you can just see Mark on the front of one of those Hyundais, and that's the car of Nick McLeod, of course, it's starting off the back.
Green flag in the back will get set for a start here. Your front row for this one, Matt Cherry alongside Brown. Brown in that Newlon number 81 car. The revs rise. Away we go for the final race of the improved production. So look at this overlap and contact. Around goes Brown, unfortunately, on the left-hand side of the road. Lucky not to get collected there as well. Bit of disappointment from Brown. That is not the way that he wanted the final race this weekend to get underway. And dare I say it, he might be done as well.
Yeah, so as you say, unfortunately, Hislop the second already. Without Poole there, there's only those 2 big Mega V8s running now. Milano going through the corner there. Then the traditionally well-starting Evos of Andrew Sedanis and Michael King in the mix as well. But at the moment, they both got past Lee Forrest off the start in the little Toyota. But let's hope they can clear Brown's Toyota off the start line there where it's had that incident. Of course, that car was actually a race winner down at Adelaide last year where they supported supercars. So it is a front-running car, and unfortunately it's out of this one by a little bit.
Tough going. So Hislop working his way across the top of McPhillamy Park. He'll work off the back of Cherry here. Once you compared the lap times between Cherry and Hislop later in race number 2, it was quite interesting because Cherry picked up his speed. Probably still not enough to hold off Hislop, but it was impressive nonetheless.
Well, he had the fastest lap of the race, mainly because Hislop had to come through traffic, and that wouldn't help. So I think we go safety car we have, as that car will have to be towed out. It would have a fair bit of tow-in on one side, I would imagine, and front steering.
Yeah, so a bit of recovery here at the moment, unfortunately, for Brown. It just looked like there was an overlap, wasn't there? He went to go to take that inside line. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out for him, and pays the heavy price here at the final race of the weekend for the improved production. So again, it was meant to be a 7-lap journey here. We've had 3 races this morning. They've all been truncated by safety cars.
Got that moving quick.
Haven't they ever? Great job from our volunteer officials and marshals getting that car pulled away.
Yeah, so we're going back to green race conditions. Cherry and Hislop, Ford versus Holden. What more would you want out of life? And there's a couple of Evos stuck in there behind them as well to keep an eye out as we get ready to go racing. So
Matt Cherry has been dominant so far this weekend. He's still got 1 race to go, but the big question mark this time by is he's got 1 Ray Hislop behind him, who has been mega in that Ford. He hasn't had the cleanest weekend so far mechanically, but right now is when it matters most, the final race of the weekend.
And Ray's not going to let him get away off the start either, as Cherry will controlled conditions. Actually, in overall results, Matt Cherry is well in front. He can let Hislop go and no problems, but I think Pride might come into this one as well. And Hislop already looking to go past him as they go down to turn 1, hill corner, and out the other side. We'll watch him go up the hill now and see what sort of performance difference is between these leading two. And already Hislop has pulled out of the slipstream of the Monaro, and I think he's got his nose in front already. He's zoomed past the Holden Monaro into the lead, and all now Cherry can do is try and hang on as much as he can, and they've gapped back to Milano by a fair amount at this stage in third position. And already Lee Forrest has picked up a couple of spots as well in the Celica. He just drives that thing so hard, and what he can't get to in straight line performance, he just makes up by throwing the thing sideways through corners. We've seen it in the past, lifting wheels going for a different bend and out of this corner.
Wild stuff. It was no surprise to see Hislop getting that main straight and that performance underneath the bonnet, and ultimately they're getting down the inside as well. So you would probably suspect that he might be able to pull away, not so much across the top though of Mount Panorama. We know it's going to be difficult for him across here because he hasn't quite got that mechanical grip performance, I should say, compared to Cherry in behind. Yeah,
they are staying close together across the top there. Now watch this Celica from our overhead drone shot going down through the S's and towards Forest Elbow. Although the Evo is going with him on this case, and that's Surrenders in behind him. Holden more in the VS of one of those Splendor engines in that car, and we know that they had quite a good top end. So out onto Conrod Straight, and Hislop is in front only by about 0.07 of a second at the last checkpoint, which is out of Forest Elbow. I dare say down the straight at 294 kilometres an hour compared to 287 from our second place car is an indication of just how fast that car is a straight line. 288 from Milano in third spot, Surrenders in fourth 252, which you expect won't be up to the speed of those front runners. Organ Moore 249. Well, I made a liar out of myself by saying it was fast in a straight line as well. Maybe he got caught behind someone. There it is going through the corner just in front of Gretchen Kumbo, who may pull out past him. He should have a faster car. But Hislop goes through in a 2:19.7 on his first flying lap. So look out for the next one. It'll be a humdinger, and I reckon he'll be looking to get into a 17.
Look out, that's the word from Gary O'Brien. A humdinger on a Sunday morning here at Mount Panorama, an Easter Sunday at that as well, as we watch the field going over the crest on Mountain Straight. So the margin from first back to second, as you touched on, Gary, 1.2 seconds now. Here's Slot Cherry. Milano back there in third. Lee Forrest here, just holding off a few cars in behind him in position number 4. Typically, Lee Forrest is always sideways around here at Mount Panorama as well.
He's got a very good sense of humour as well. He's always got a story to tell. And what he lacks in straight line performance, he certainly makes up by throwing that Celica around the corners.
It's under attack though now at the moment. Speaking of under attack down the inside, that is a precarious position to try and get the job done. It's not often that we see cars go side by side. I think they got out of that one quite cleanly.
Yeah, that was hard in the mouth stuff, wasn't it, going up there on that side of the road? We've seen a few people come unglued by doing things like that. TCM here last year reminds me of that. But as we've seen before, it's still Forrest ahead of Surrenders and Olgan Moore. King, the next one, and it was King who got past Gretsch Cumbo going up through that area that had us all a bit worried for a moment. So we'll just keep an eye out where Hislop will be out on Conrod Straight. We'll get another time period from him. I think he's a bit slower this time. He's a K faster down the straight at 295. Cherry was second. He was 287, 288 from Milano. So Milano's got a K up on the Monaro, but obviously lacked somewhere else, or else he would be in second position. The little Celica goes down the straight, and I'll just try and get a time on that. A 262 for the turbocharged Yellow Peril.
Yellow Peril. I like that. That'll be your famous last words now for for the Hi-Tec Oils Bathurst 6 Hour.
I see you coming through the field up to position 8. There it is, Jordan Cox. He qualified third fastest in this car. That's a 1200 on loan from John Boston. It's got a 1.8 litre turbo engine in it, and it goes like a rocket. The only trouble is it likes to spray out a bit of oil out of one of the breathers on it. It's been having a drama. We've just seen a drag race going up the hill this time round between, it looks like Sorrendis, Michael King, 2 Evo 8s in the field. They're predominantly very similar look at from the front.
Of course, Jordan Cox was an overnight social media sensation here a couple of years ago, wasn't he? Because he was incredible at one of the support events to the Bathurst 12 Hour. He was sideways going across the top McPhillamy Park. He had, I think, 3 wheels at the moment, only sticking to the right. It was quite impressive, wasn't it? And then went to Adelaide and was sideways through the Centre S's.
Yep, yeah, that's that Honda Accord that you have. That car's in the field here actually this weekend as well. It has been moved on. Jordan's building himself a Suzuki Swift Turbo.
Oh, Suzuki Swift Turbo, that would go like the clappers.
Yeah, Kyle Organ Moore getting a bit sideways, getting towards McPhillamy there. Just tucks the tail out a little bit. Hislop's lead now 1.36 seconds ahead of Matt Cherry. Milano still third. Forrest, Sorrendis, King. The 2 Evos running 5th and 6th. Organ Moore in 7th, Kretsch Cumbo in 8th, Wade up to 9th. He's picked up a couple of places, and Dukes in the BMW is in 10th. McPherson 11th. He and Wade had a bit of it coming together in race 1 that required them to go to the steward's office and explain their side of the story and how right they both were, but not agreeing with each other.
That's exactly right. Typical motorsport, isn't it, sometimes? The drama. We love it. Cherry through the final turn here, back down the main straight. The margin now, incidentally, from first back to second is bang on 2 seconds. So Cherry hasn't let Hislop get too far away here at the moment. He's just keeping him honest out there in front at the moment. So we'll see what he can do. Great battle, though, here. Lee Forrest charging, pushing, and trying to hold those in behind away from him.
Yeah, just noticing there, too, that Cherry has done his quickest lap of the weekend at 20.6. As more battles going on here, this will be Marinelli, Nissan battling it out with McPherson. Marinelli didn't finish yesterday's race, but has fought back fairly strongly in this one. So he's come from the back near the back of the field somewhere. We have lost Jordan Cox again. Makes a habit of coming from the back of the field and not finishing. It's not good. He's dropped wide right out of this one.
The exact same thing happened to race 1 of the weekend, in race 2, and now race number 3. You thought it might be a case of third time lucky, but clearly not.
Driving that car a little bit harder than what it's normally meant to be driven.
Well, there was you reported there was flame or something out the back of the earlier.
We heard that from that oil retriever fleet. Around the bottom of the car. They thought it must have done an engine, but it was just oil catching fire, fortunately. More battles going on here. Mazda, another Nissan. That's of course, the car was... that was Troy Marinelli getting a bit sideways. That's Stig Richards. What a good name for Stig Richards. Love it. New South Welshman. It runs around in the local improved production races over 2 litre. And he's been solid this weekend, up around the 12th, 13th, just ahead of Ben Alge in that BMW, the next one through. Just a quick skim back to where we were with the under 2 litres. I did say McCready and Handy won a race each, and this time it's Orcus that's out in front. So they're sharing the honours around, you might say, for the weekend. Orcus unfortunately didn't finish the first race, so he won't take overall honours. And that'll be between McCready and Hendy, and at this stage that would rest with McCready.
So 1 more lap to go for your leaders out in front. Of course, Hislop holding off Cherry for the moment, 1.6 seconds the margin. We go back to this battle still for position number 4. Lee Forrest, you've got to say, probably, I mean, aside from Hislop, probably man of the match performance so far to not fold under pressure here.
Yeah, well, he's up against 4-wheel drive later model turbos. and he's doing an excellent job and more than holding his own now. As we see there, King trying to make a move on Surrendis down at Hill Corner and almost got there. Now they'll have a drag race up the hill to see who is top dog amongst the Evos.
Kim came from a long way back, didn't he, down there into Hell Corner. Thankfully was able to pull it up on the anchors and not make contact between the two Evos as they make their way over the rise on Mountain Straight once again. So Sonatas has been able to hold on for the moment. Now into Griffin's Bend, a little bit of camber here, which pitches the car in on the right-hand side of the road so you can get away with a little bit later break into that particular point of the racetrack. Also helped by the fact that you're going uphill there as well. Now into the cutting for the final time. This is really odd, isn't it? It's a good battle. And now throw into the mix a little bit of lap traffic as well.
Yeah, coming up on the back of young Nick McLeod, who's giving his XL a bit of a run and allows Lee Forrest to get past. The interesting thing, like Jordan Cox, Michael King is suiting up again later in the day to run in the Hi-Tec Oils 6 hour and just getting some extra miles in, no doubt. Come back and report what the track's like. Fortunately, it hasn't been too much oil gone down this morning. We've still got a 1 hour production sports race to go. Here's Matt Cherry in second position coming down the straight. This is the last lap. And there's our race leader, Ray Hislop, coming down. It brought back memories of a couple of years ago where he got tangled up on the last lap with a lap car, and for a moment there I didn't know which way he was going to go. But credit to Matt Cherry, he hasn't let him get away with this one as much as we expected, and his hop was only 264, just cruising down the straight on occasion. Gets across the line, takes the checkered flag. Matt Cherry in second position will be the overall over 2 litre winner for the weekend.
Great race once again here from the improved production. Still this battle goes on between the two Evos. Sonatas hard on the left-hand side of the road, then going down into the chase. So A either had a moment going through the kick or he was just being extremely defensive on the run down to the left-hander. He's going to try and hold on here as they come down into Murray's. A big dive from King. He's going to make it stick like he almost did at Hell Corner. It gets the job done, moves up a spot. In the end, between the pair of them, there was only 2/10 of a second, so a nice move from King. Came from a country mile back and was able to get down the inside. Good pass.
Yeah, under 2 litres. Zorkas has lost his lead. He pitted. 1 lap to go in the race, unfortunately, so that hands the win in under 2 litres to McCready ahead of Hendy. Great race and great result back in the field.
Yeah, it was good to watch, wasn't it? Some good passing going on and some good battles as well.
Of course, this race, as we said, brought to you by Midas. Bill Steen, of course, very much involved in the category as well, and the Yokohama Control Tyre, which everyone runs on. Big thanks to all those guys, and big thanks to everyone that came along to not only participate in improved production here at Bathurst. It's good to see them back. They missed out on the 12-hour support, here for the 6-hour support. I think they enjoyed this one just as much.
Yeah, they certainly did. Let's have a look at your top 10 results for the final race of the weekend for the improved productions. Ray Hislop, the start of the weekend wasn't perfect, but the end of it certainly was. Matthew Cherry home in position number 2, Damien Milano P3, Lee Forrest in 4th, and Michael King with that banzai move on the final lap got position number 5.
Yeah, Organ Moore in the Commodore in position 7 ahead of Gretsch Cumbo. Wade in 9th, Dukes in 10th in their BMWs.
Another great race from the improved productions and looking forward to seeing them back at Mount Panorama.
Ray, congratulations. What a fantastic race, and happy Easter to you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Easter as well. Yeah, look, we've had some magnificent weather this weekend. I'm not sure what the temp is now. I know in the car it's well into the high 40s. But where else do you want to sweat? It's great.
And where else do you want to be on Easter Sunday with the sun shining and winning a race?
Absolutely. I mean, my wife may have different ideas, but hey...
Is she here?
No. So,
well, a shout out to her. What's her name?
Karen and the boys.
Happy Easter to you all. We're sorry for keeping him away from you.
Yeah, look, we had a great run then. I mean, we had unfortunately, we didn't start the first race yesterday. We had an electrical gremlin in the car, fixed it. Had a 50th starting spot yesterday afternoon, got through to 4th, which was not where you want to start, but it's a lot of fun when you pass cars. So that was great. And then today, we, all the guys are getting closer and closer, and the gap between everyone is getting tighter. So, yeah, it means we've got to start improving our mousetrap.
Thanks, Ray. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hey, Justin McMahon, you were talking to the family. You just look like you've had a ball out there.
Fantastic. What can you say about this place? It's a dream come true to race here, yeah.
Have you had much track time here?
We came here once a few years ago and didn't get much track time, so this time we've come here and, yeah, it's been great. We've pretty much had green sessions the whole way, so, yeah, it's been awesome.
And it's great to see that your family have travelled with you for Easter as well.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. You've got to have fun.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
No worries. Thanks so much.
Coming up after the break, we head to Sydney Dragway for all the top fuel action from the Gulf Western Oil's Nitro Thunder.